Everybody, take a deep breath. Please breathe in now. Here we go then. Yes, we are back once more. It's very nice to be with you again on, well, it was sunny. We did have some sunshine, but then the sun went in and then we had a bit of rain. And now we are waiting for the sun to come back out once more. Yes, we are back together. It is English Addict Live, coming to you wherever you are in the world, live from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be England. Ooh. I'm here and everything works. Wow. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Are you feeling happy? I hope you are. Today we are back once more live. Yes, actually we are live. I know I'm a bit late. I've had a busy week once again. Working on my computer, I have been busy once more putting right some of the technical problems that I've had with my computer. And I think maybe I have it right. Maybe I have done everything I need to do. I hope so. We will find out today what happens. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, if I am here now appearing on your computer screen or mobile device, all I can say is I feel rather happy to be here. Hello to the live chat. Hello to all those who are English addicts. I am one of those, and I have a feeling that you are one of those as well. We are live from England, for those wondering where I am. I'm in a beautiful place called Much Wenlock, a small town with, I think, around 5,000 people living around this area. Not many. I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. That is not many people. But yes, I live in a small area, rather nice, in the countryside, surrounded by animals and some people. So now you know. Here we go then. Yes, we are back together and we have made it to the end of another week and also the end of another weekend without blowing ourselves up. Thank goodness. Yes, it's Sunday. Sunday is here once more. How is your weekend so far? Is it good? Are you having a good weekend? I hope you are. Yes, lots of things going on. Can we all be nice on the live chat today? Can we all be nice to each other? No silly nonsense this week. Can we just be all nice? Can we have a nice live stream? And don't forget, wherever you are in the world, I always hope you are happy. I've been saying it for over 15 years, to be honest. I always hope that you are well and happy wherever you are in the world on this little blue planet spinning around in space. I hope you are doing well. Here we go. Yes, the live chat is also up and running. Hello to you. Thank you for joining me today. Yes, outside it's a very strange day. I will be honest with you. We have some blue sky, not much, but it has been a mixture of of sunshine and rain today. So very mixed, but at least all of the strong winds that we've had over the past couple of weeks, they have disappeared. In fact, we had a nice walk into town yesterday. We actually had a longer walk. Normally our walk lasts for around about 25 minutes. So 25 minutes going into town and 25 minutes walking back. However, yesterday when we walked into town, we went a much longer way round. It took us 50 minutes to walk into town. So we had a lovely walk yesterday, even though it was rather muddy because of all the rain we've been having here. But it was very nice and not too bad. I can't complain. I could complain, but when you think about it, when you think about all of the things happening around the world, sometimes it is good to count your blessings. That's all I can say. Right, now, here we go. Oh, yes, we have the live chat. Who was first on the live chat today? Oh, I see. Someone different. Hello to Mosen. Well done. Congratulations. Guess what? You are first on today's live chat. Hip, hip, hooray to Mosen. Well done. You are first today. We also have Tomek. Hello, Tomek. We also have Jurshid. Oh, hello, Jurshid. I haven't seen you for a long time. It seems like many months, many weeks since I last saw you here. Also, we have Vitas. Hello, Vitas. I'm sorry you were not first today, unfortunately. Sandra Gonzalez. We also have Maria. We also have Valentin as well. We also have Rakesh, Christina, Inaki. Wow, everyone is here. Hello, Nelly. Nelly is here again. Alessandra, Duong. My goodness, it's a busy one today. Also, Beatrice. It would appear that Beatrice has some difficulty with her Wi-Fi because of a storm. Well, I hope you are able to follow, even if you can't join in on the live chat. I hope you can follow what is going on. Yes, today we are talking all about parts, general parts, the words, the terms, the ways of describing parts. It might seem like a simple subject, but I can assure you it is not. There are many ways of expressing parts. When we talk about parts, we talk about the individual pieces that go together to make something. So that's what we are talking about today. We also have Mr. Steve here as well. You will be pleased to hear that you will not be hearing Mr. Steve sing in any way. There will be no singing from Mr. Steve. So please make sure you are on your best behaviour, or else I might get Mr. Steve to sing a song. Hello also to Zutzika. Oh, and also Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Lewis. Nice to see you back. Thank you for your photographs, by the way, Lewis. And also to Claudia. Thank you for your photographs. I've received quite a few things this week. Some complaints, which I might talk about later, but also a lot of photographs and also a very unusual video from Pedro. I'm not going to show the video because it really is very strange and unusual. But can I just say, Pedro, if you are watching, thank you for your very interesting video. In the past, I have to be honest with you. Can I be honest? Do you mind? In the past, I have received many strange things from my viewers. And Pedro, you have not disappointed me. Very strange. Hello also, Willian. We also have Claudia. Claudia, congratulations, Claudia. You are now officially COVID free. A round of applause for all of Claudia's little immunity cells for getting rid, for pushing out the dreaded lurgy. So congratulations, and I'm glad to hear you're feeling much better. Thank you very much for letting me know. We also have Rosa. We also have Nung Dao. Hello, Nung Dao. I have a feeling you are in Vietnam. We also have Norte. Hello, Norte Sur. Norte. It sounds a little bit like naughty. Are you ever naughty? Apparently, Norte is watching from the Mississippi. Can you spell Mississippi? Most people cannot spell Mississippi. Some people have difficulty saying it as well. Hello to you as well, watching in the USA. Hello to Christina. Hello, Christina. Nice to see you as well. I decided to do a little bit of filming yesterday in the garden. We are going to have a look now at a short video that I made because the weather is starting to get better. You may have noticed that the weather is slowly getting better behind me. And I hope where you are having nice weather. But yesterday I couldn't resist going into the garden and taking some short video clips that I have edited together. Would you like to have a look at them? Okay. Because it really does feel as if spring has arrived. I couldn't resist showing you some of the views. I know spring hasn't really arrived yet, but it looks as if it is arriving right now. As I speak, I can feel the change in the air. It really does feel as if spring has arrived, and some of the daffodils have already opened in the garden. Many have not opened yet, but we are still waiting rather patiently for that. Hello to the live chat. Nice to see you here today. It is a strange period of time. I would say that we have lived through some very strange times over the past couple of years. Do I need to explain this, really? I don't think I do. But we've had some really strange times, and it would appear that the uncertainty and the strange feeling that many people have at the moment is continuing, especially in certain parts of the world. And as you know, I don't always like to give my feelings and opinions on here because it's not always a good idea. However, you know me, and you know that I'm always thinking of everyone. I try to do my best to think about everyone, but also to make everyone happy. And as we all know, if you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. But I always try my best. Can I just say that? You might not even realise how much effort and work I have to put into doing this. I'm not like other YouTube celebrities who have lots of other people helping them. They have lots of support from their wealthy parents or whatever the support is. I don't have any of that. I do everything here by myself, and I've done it by myself for the past 15 years. And I always try to make you happy. I always try to do my best. I don't always succeed. I don't always succeed in making you happy or doing my best, but I do try. And that's all I can do. Hello to, we have Saturino is here. Hello, Saturino. Nice to see you back as well. Yes, Mr. Steve will be here in a few moments. The big question is, what is Mr. Steve wearing today? I wonder what he will be wearing. I wonder if Mr. Steve will be singing today. I have a feeling he won't be. So he is here in a few moments. Mr. Steve will be here. It is amazing how often I am asked, where is Mr. Steve during the week? Unfortunately, Mr. Steve has to work, so he can't join us, unfortunately. He is not able to join us on Wednesday. But, of course, every Sunday we do have Mr. Steve here. He is here in a few moments, right after we've had a look at one of my full English lessons. And then we will be joined by Mr. Steve here in the studio. And we are talking about parts today. You might even say that sometimes Mr. Steve plays a part. Maybe in a musical or in a play or right here on the live chat. Yes, Mr. Steve will be with us in around about 7 or 8 minutes from now. Don't go away. You know, the world of English is a fun and exciting place to be, especially today because I'm back with another full English lesson, coming to you from the birthplace of Eric Clapton, Kate Winslet, David Beckham, Richard Branson, and of course the English language, which is the thing we all have in common, a passionate love of this lovely thing called English. So without any more dawdling or annoying hold-ups, Let's get on with today's full English lesson right now. Can you see what I have in my hand? It's a hook. This might look like a simple object, but it has many uses, both inside and outside the house. It is useful for hanging things, either from a wall or ceiling. The word hook can be used in many ways too. As a noun, it names a piece of metal or plastic that is curved at one end. It is an object used for hanging things from. Hooks come in many different shapes and sizes. You can also use a hook to catch a fish. You put a hook on the end of a fishing line. An object for hanging clothes on is also called a hook. Once more, these come in many different shapes and sizes. A hook can also describe an eye-catching thing. Something that is used to get attention from people is a hook. For example, a sales hook, a short swinging punch, is also a hook. As a verb, the word hook can mean the action of attaching two or more hooks together. You can hook one thing to another. You can hook onto something. He managed to hook his leg onto the branch to prevent himself from falling. A person who has become over-reliant on something is hooked. To hook someone on a thing so as to get them addicted. The person who is addicted is hooked. My brother became hooked on drugs during his teen years. To lure someone towards something, such as an image, a person, or a song, is hook. The thing in question is attractive. It hooks you. You can hook up with someone. To meet a person with a view to starting a relationship is hook up. To connect electrical equipment together with wires is hook up. He came over last night to hook up my hi-fi speakers. To catch something with a hook is to hook something. I hope we will hook ourselves a nice big fish. To bend something into a hook shape is hook. He hooked his thumbs under his belt. The phrase off the hook means to be no longer a suspect or to become blameless and out of trouble. His wife's statement got him off the hook. There is also by hook or by crook, which means to succeed no matter what happens or whatever it takes. I will make this business grow by hook or by crook. To tell a person to go away, you can say, sling your hook. It's now time to take a look at another buzzword. A buzzword is a word or phrase that is used often during a certain period or is generally popular. Today's buzzword is embargo. The word embargo can be used as a noun and as a verb. As a noun, embargo means to block something from being imported from another country. An import ban can be described as an embargo. The weapons embargo begins at midnight. A dispute between two nations might result in an embargo. An official ban on all activity is an embargo. There is an embargo on taking photographs in the courtroom. Historically, an embargo names the state of ships being unable to enter or leave a country's port. We sometimes include an embargo with the word sanction. One country might sanction an embargo on another as punishment. An embargo aimed at a country often involves much needed commodities, the most common being oil and gas. The word sanction can also mean a threat to block or cut off trade. As a verb, the word embargo is the action of placing the block. A nation will ban bar, limit, prohibit, restrict, stop. It's a fact of life that we all have to work. It is how we earn our bread and butter. It is a means to an end. We must do it to survive. There are many ways of expressing regular work. It is a job. It's an occupation. It is your profession. It is your livelihood. It's what you do for a living. The word profession also helps to name the type of job you do. What is your profession? I'm a sales assistant. We can also ask, what do you do for a living? I work as a sales assistant in a shop. We can ask who a person works for. This often relates to a big company or public sector service. I work at Google. I work for the fire department. You can work full-time or part-time. The average hours worked each week here in the UK is around 40 hours. However, some people work very long hours. Hospital employees might work very long shifts. Some workers might have to be on the job around the clock. The amount of work a person is willing to do varies. A hard-working person might be willing to work long hours, while some people might avoid work at any cost. They are work-shy. A work-shy person might be described as a layabout, slacker, bone idle, lazy. Why don't you go out and get a job? You're just a bone idle, lazy layabout. Negative slang terms for regular work include daily grind, 9 to 5, rat race, daily slog. An interesting job can be rewarding, while a dull or uninteresting job might be described as tedious, laborious, unrewarding. To work hard, you must slog your guts out, keep your nose to the grindstone, sweat, give your all. Having a job is a necessity. It is what brings in your livelihood, the income, your source of revenue, your earnings. It is a fact of life that we all have to work. It is how we earn our bread and butter. It is a means to an end. We must do it to survive. There it was, one of my many English lessons that you can find on my YouTube channel. And there are lots, including my full English lessons as well. They are all on my channel. Don't forget to check them out. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, wonderful viewers from across the globe. Everywhere across the globe.
Everywhere.
Yes, and everyone is welcome no matter where you're from.
It does seem as if we have to keep saying that.
Yes.
Although it should be obvious, really.
No prejudices on this channel.
Yeah. In fact, most of the prejudice comes from out there, not in here.
Yes.
We love everyone.
Yes.
We love every person, every human being.
Well, maybe not everyone.
I was going to finish there, you see.
Okay.
I love every human being unless they are horrible and nasty. And there you go. That's all you have to say, really. I think that covers everything.
Yes. Well, people have been making all sorts of comments. Liked the video that you showed about the garden, Mr. Duncan. Rosa comments that the rabbits eating the grass that I planted last year.
Yes,
you are right.
Yes, there was a little rabbit at the back of the house yesterday. I couldn't resist filming it. And a lot of people, did you know, Steve, you might not realise this, rabbits don't hibernate.
Don't they?
No, a lot of people believe that rabbits hibernate.
Right.
They believe that they go into their little hole in the ground and they go to sleep during the winter months.
Like a hedgehog, you mean?
But they don't hibernate.
So I suppose there's always grass for them to eat, even if it's cold. Maybe they just stay in their little rabbit burrows and just come out when the weather is a bit better.
Yeah.
Have a little munch of some greenery, because there's always grass around, and the grass has been growing very quickly this winter because it's been warm.
Yes.
In fact, if anything, I should have cut it. It's probably about that long.
Yes, it's really long. Well, the rabbit is helping you to cut the grass. And so, as I was saying, rabbits do not hibernate. But it's amazing how many people think that rabbits do. But they don't. They stay awake all the way through winter. They normally find somewhere nice and warm to stay, like you just said, Steve. But because there's lots of grass and lots of greenery for them to eat, they don't need to go into hibernation. They have lots of thick fur as well on their body, and also they eat extra food before winter begins.
Fatten themselves up.
Like squirrels do.
Yes.
Squirrels do the same thing. They eat a lot of food, get fat, and then they normally have winter fur on their bodies, and so they can stay awake, and they don't have to worry about going to sleep.
They don't hibernate,
No.
I don't think, because
No.
we've seen them in our garden every day looking for scraps that the birds don't eat. Palmyra as well has commented on your video, saying that she can see the daffodils, but because the daffodils are there, she knows it's time for the forsythia to come out. Yes.
Yes.
That bush that flowers very early on before the leaves come out with nice yellow flowers. And then we really know spring is on the way.
Yes. Two things that I always look out for. Besides the daffodils, I always look out for cherry blossom on the trees. And there is some cherry blossom, not much at the moment because it's very early. But also, as I mentioned, there are also the daffodils, cherry blossom, and, as Steve just said, forsythia. That's the one we're all looking out for, because as soon as that comes out, officially, it's spring.
It is. And it does feel spring-like.
It does.
Outside, we've had very high winds, lots of storms, one after another, which is unusual. But they have subsided, so they've gone away. And we're left with sort of quite still but cold conditions, but plants are starting to emerge from the ground. The rabbits coming out. Daffodils are going into bud. We've got the snowdrops. They're the first ones, aren't they? And so it's all looking positive, at least in terms of the weather.
Not much else.
Yes.
Not much else is positive, but at least spring is coming. I said this last week. I don't want to repeat myself, but I said last week, I'm so glad to see winter end. I have to be honest. I don't know why. Winter can be a miserable season, but for some reason, the winter we've just had, I've really hated. It's been so gloomy and depressing, even though we had no snow at all. But it still seemed like a very long and gloomy winter. So I am really glad to see spring is in the air.
Can I say a special hello to Hannah and Daniel, who are watching us from Ukraine?
Hello, Ukraine. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten you.
We haven't, and we're so pleased that you've still got internet connection and that you can watch us. Obviously, horrendous news this week. But of course, we welcome everybody. You've had emails from people. You have lots of people that watch in Russia, and they're saying that they're afraid to come on. But they're just normal, ordinary citizens.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid, because this is not a place where you're going to be criticised. It's
No.
only the leaders that we've got problems with.
Okay, Steve.
So
And that's
you know.
the point we're not going to cross.
yes, well, I just wanted to make that point that nobody should be afraid to come on Mr. Duncan's channel.
So I have received some emails, some complaints about the fact. Complaints.
Is it
about,
me?
Complaints about the fact that we weren't acknowledging the problems in Ukraine last week. When we did actually mention it, but we can't get too involved because that's not why we're here. However, I also got, as Steve just said, I received some emails from those who are worried about the situation, and they are actually living in Russia. And they say they feel fearful of what is happening, but also they don't want to come on the live chat and say that they are from Russia. So that's the point I'm trying to make. There are people who want to join in with the live chat, and as I always say, you are all welcome wherever you are in the world. That's it.
Yep, this is a neutral zone, isn't it, Mr. Duncan? Because
Yes.
we're trying to help you learn English.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's what we want to say.
That's always been my motto. That's always been the thing that I've thought about when I consider the English language. It is a way of bringing people together, communicating, sharing experiences, sharing our similarities and also our differences as well. That is the one thing we all have in common. The one thing we have in common is our individuality. We are all different. However, we are also the same. We have many things that we share as similarities.
Lewis has fixed his computer. So, welcome. I think he was back on Wednesday, wasn't he?
Yes.
Beatrice has had a problem with the internet connection due to a storm.
Technology. Oh,
Well, you know all
yes.
about that, Mr. Duncan.
I've been busy this week. I think I may have solved the computer problems. So the last piece of my computer was fixed this week. Oh, by the way, look outside, Steve. Look at that. Doesn't that look lovely?
It does.
I just noticed that. Isn't that beautiful? Wow.
Well, yes, it's a nice day for a walk.
I wish
But we can't because we're here
Yes.
helping you to learn English.
Oh my goodness, that looks so nice. It almost looks like some sort of painting.
Although we did go for a nice walk yesterday.
We did.
We did. Right, Mr. Duncan, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about parts.
Parts.
It seems like a big subject or a general subject. Some people might say it's an easy subject or a simple subject, but in fact, you might be surprised to find out just how complex that one word is. So that is what we are looking at.
Body parts.
It can be any part.
A part, a P-A-R-T, a part of something.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure we will dive in deep into that subject of parts when Mr. Duncan is ready to do so.
I was just thinking of something I did yesterday. I did something not on purpose. It was an accident, but I had a little accident yesterday. We were going into the local cafe, and I was going through the door of the cafe. I was entering the cafe, going in, and as I pushed the door closed, I suddenly felt that the door wouldn't close. So I pushed the door firmly and realised that there was actually a dog caught in the door, in the doorway by its head. But it was one of those really tiny dogs. You know those little tiny dogs, something like a chihuahua, very small. So the dog had tried to get in, but the woman was still outside. So I pushed the door too, and the owner was still coming in. And I couldn't work out why the door wouldn't close. And it was because this poor little dog had its head stuck in the doorway.
You could have murdered a dog. Well, it wouldn't have been. It'd have been dog slaughter.
It wouldn't have been murder.
No.
It's only murder if I intended to do it.
Yeah. So when you kill somebody and it's not deliberate, we use the word manslaughter.
Yes.
Man encompassing both men and women.
Yes. Person.
A person, but we call it manslaughter. But if you kill a dog by mistake, is it dog slaughter?
I don't know.
I mean, the word slaughter still sounds bad.
Maybe canicide.
Canicide.
Canicide. Maybe
Yes.
that's it. Maybe that's the term. But I didn't mean to hurt the dog. Trust me. So before anyone accuses me of doing it on purpose, I didn't. It was an accident. But it was very strange that I couldn't get the door closed. And when I looked down, there was a dog halfway through the door. Well, its head was almost through the door. But the more I tried to close the door, the more the dog became trapped.
But did the owner protest?
She said sorry.
Oh, she said
Yes,
sorry for
that's it.
you nearly strangling her dog.
Yes.
I wonder
Well,
what breed of dog it was.
I think it was. I think it was one of these small chihuahuas, or maybe quite often nowadays people will have a dog and it will be mixed breed.
But people do that, don't they? But I mean, dogs do that. When there's a door open ajar or open a little bit, it always sticks its face in. But of course, Mr. Duncan was... And the doors at this particular cafe are quite stiff and heavy.
Well, it was tiny. It was just, it was like a little rat on a lead. It was so tiny.
What's the point?
Yes.
Might as well carry it in your handbag.
You might as well just have nothing. You might as well just keep a mouse in your handbag.
I didn't see it.
No.
I heard a bit of commotion because I went ahead looking for a table. Anyway, this isn't very interesting, I'm sure.
That part isn't. I haven't had a shave today, by the way. I'm sorry. I didn't shave. I didn't have time. I was doing all sorts of things preparing today's live stream.
You scruff.
As usual.
A scruff.
I always run out of time.
Well, you were doing fiddling around with your computer again.
There is never enough time.
Mr. Duncan, I'm sure, has told you.
By the way, there is a great little shop. You've just reminded me. Another thing I wanted to mention. I don't know where you are, or I don't know about the place where you are, but do you have a shop that seems to sell everything? We all have them, and we have one in Much Wenlock. We have a small shop, but inside it seems to sell everything. And I would love to do a live stream or maybe make a short video in that shop, because it is like an Aladdin's cave. Everything is in there. So when we say that something is an Aladdin's cave, it's a great phrase, by the way. It means that a place that seems to have lots and lots of things, almost everything. And this particular shop is a good example of that, because we went in to get one tiny thing, didn't we, yesterday?
One tiny thing. It's a very small shop.
Yes.
It's a kind of... Yes, it's just it doesn't sell food, but it sells sort of pots and pans.
Everything.
Paper cups.
Everything.
Light bulbs. Weed killer.
Everything.
It's bit like a hardware store, but with loads of other stuff as well.
It's just everything.
Yeah.
They sell everything. So I went in and asked the lady, or the person working there, I asked, do you have a watch battery? I need a small watch battery. And she says, which type? Which type of battery? I said, 2032. She said, yes, we have that one. And I thought, what? How is that possible?
How did she know?
How can she know from this shop, the shop that is full of thousands of things, and she knows in her head that she has one of these tiny little batteries in a shop that sells everything. So I have to say I was really impressed with that place. In fact, over time, we've bought lots of things from that little shop, haven't we?
Have. You go in and ask for something, and 9 times out of 10, they've got it.
It's AJ's.
Some AJ's in Much Wenlock, yes. So if you ever find yourself in this part of the world,
if you ever
and you're short of a watch battery
or anything,
just go in there and ask.
Go to AJ's.
I'm sure they could probably order it for you, even if they didn't have it in stock. Yes, it's a fascinating, as we call it here, an Aladdin's cave.
Yes.
Not quite sure where that came from. I think
it comes from. I think it's from the Knights of Arabia.
Yes.
And I think they found a secret cave, which I think it could give you anything you wanted. I think you could wish for something and you would get it. And I think that's where it comes from. So if you have an Aladdin's cave, it's a place that seems to have everything you need. But this little tiny shop, and that's the thing, isn't it, Steve?
Yes.
The shop is so small. It's a tiny little shop, but somehow it sells everything.
Driss says a flea market. Yes, it's similar to that.
Yeah.
That's another name for somewhere that probably sells lots of different things. But yeah, over here we would say an Aladdin's cave. I don't know if that's offensive in some cultures.
It's not offensive to
probably
anyone.
Isn't.
No, it's not offensive.
But yes, she knows what she's got in stock, so she's got it all up here in her head. And we were most impressed.
Well, we bought things in the past from there. Random items that don't even go together. And they sell them. So, yeah, AJ's. If you're ever in Much Wenlock and you want something or need something, whatever it is, pop into the tiny little shop. Don't be misled by the size of the shop because it's very small. You could actually walk past it, couldn't you, Steve, without even noticing? But it's brilliant. I love it. I love the shop.
Oh, Hala, H-A-L-A, hello there, says we can find the same sort of shop in Marrakesh.
Ah,
Yes, I can imagine. Yes, these little shops tucked away where somebody is trying to cater for... Basically, they're selling things that nobody else sells in the local area.
yeah.
So we've got bread shops, we've got clothes shops, we've got grocery stores, but we haven't got a hardware store. We used to have one. So I think most of what she sells is hardware, sort of. I bet she sells spanners and all sorts of things like that. But yeah, it's good to have that locally because it means we don't have to travel outside to get something else.
Yes, it's brilliant. You were in the garden earlier.
I was in the garden, yes.
Are you working in the garden already?
Yes, I've started. Nothing's growing, but I wanted to cut back a few bushes. So the fuchsia.
Oh,
We've got a fuchsia bush. So for Rosa and Palmyra and other people who like gardening will know what a fuchsia is. It's a lovely sort of ornate, sort of pink, reddy sort of flower on a bush. Looks very pretty, tends to always have flowers throughout the year. But this bush has got a bit leggy, the branches have got too long, the bush has got too big, and it needs cutting back because then it will spring to life and we'll get even more flowers. Some bushes you have to cut them back and to enable them to sort of regenerate themselves.
Yeah.
And it was falling. When it used to get wet and heavy, it would fall over on one side. So I've cut it back.
You always think that bushes are things you can just leave, but you have to maintain them. You have to make sure they don't get too large or else everything starts to bend and break.
I'd like to see you cutting a bush back, Mr. Duncan.
I'll do it.
Always seems to be the sort of thing that I do.
When the good weather comes back, I am going to do some gardening outside. I never normally do it, you see.
Well, I'll have to film that, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. We could do a live stream with me trying to do some gardening work.
That would be fun. I would have to think very carefully where I would trust you to practice.
Yeah. You see, that's it. That's the
Yes.
reason why I never do anything in the garden. A lot of people ask, Mr. Duncan, why do you make Mr. Steve do all of the work in the garden? Well, because Steve doesn't let me do it. He doesn't trust me with his bushes.
Well, we've got somebody else here who says, gardening is my passion. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce your name. But we'd love to know what. Please give us an English name that we can announce.
That is actually in Cyrillic. If I'm clever, I might actually be able to.
I wonder if it's Hannah or Daniel.
Just wait a moment, Mr. Steve. I'm going to see if I can translate that as soon as.
Vitas says it as well. Pedro, life is treating me very well. Thank you very much for asking. And I hope. How is life treating you? Yes, Mr. Duncan's had an email from you this week. I think you might have mentioned it because one or two people have said, can they...
I did mention, but I can't show the video because another person appears in the video.
Right.
And we can't do that. Trust me. When I say trust me, you must trust me, please.
Yes, William
yes,
asks.
Daniel.
Yes, Daniel from Ukraine.
I'm trying to read the whole name, Steve. Daniel Lipovo Dolinsky.
You've got a very, very... Mr. Duncan's got everything here right at his fingertips.
So, yes, my computer is better than ever. It's better than it ever was. So now I know.
From Poltava, a city of 300,000 citizens. Well, we hope you're keeping safe. That's...
Okay, Steve.
Yeah. But you're watching us today, which I hope is a nice distraction away from all the problems and the troubles that you're having.
Okay, Steve.
But how wonderful for you to come on and contribute to the live chat. Thank you very much indeed.
Apparently Poltava has 300,000 people living there.
Yes.
And I mentioned earlier, Steve, that here in Much Wenlock, we only have 5,000 people, which still sounds like a lot, doesn't it? 5,000 people sounds like a lot of people, but there are huge places, huge cities. When you think of places like London, Steve, London has over 10 million people living there. And that's one of the reasons, by the way, why we don't live in a big city. I'm not a big fan of cities or lots of people or busy streets and noise and pollution. So I'm not a fan of those things. I don't think Steve is either.
I think, well, yes, some people like cities. My sister's has got children, and they are... Two of them are now, or at least one of them is now living in London, and they absolutely love it. I think if you're young, maybe, then you might find the bright lights and the excitement and the ability to connect with lots of different people very exciting. I think if you're the sort of person that wants to get on in life and wants to be successful, then you have to go to the cities, don't you? Particularly the capital cities. Somewhere like London or Paris, because then that's where it all is tending to happen in a lot of careers.
It is a sad fact of life that if you want to do something with your life and achieve something, quite often you have to spend some time in a place that you don't want to be. I suppose one of the hardest things, and one of the things I always think about, is when someone moves to a big city, but they don't have much money, but they still have to live there. So they have to find a place that they can live in, but it's probably going to be somewhere really unpleasant, somewhere really, really small, maybe. So I always think of that when I think of people who go to London to find their fortune.
Yes.
And there are many people that do that, and there are many people who go there and they fail.
Well, I know what I wished. I wish I'd done that, Mr. Duncan, because I could have bought a property in London 30, 40 years ago, and I could have been a multi-millionaire now because I could have sold it for a fortune.
Okay.
Well, I could have done the same in Birmingham, which isn't far from us, but certainly London would have been an ideal place to purchase a property, as probably in a lot of capital cities around the world.
Yeah. I suppose if you bought a piece of property in London maybe 20 or 30 years ago, it's probably worth a lot more than it was.
Yeah, it's probably gone up 10 times. I know my parents used to live in London. In fact, I was born in London.
Yes.
And they were going to stay there. They were going to buy a property in London, but they decided not to. They moved out of London. But my father always sort of said to me that, sort of with regret, that he wished that he had bought a flat in London, because even sort of in the 70s, it had gone up massively. So, yeah, successful cities around the world, lots of cities where you can make a small fortune over a small period of time.
Yes, so it is strange that you often have to move to a place that it might be unpleasant to live in, And although there are people who love living in a big city surrounded by people. So I think it's a personal choice. Once again, like everything in life, it is a personal choice. Anything on the live chat, Mr. Steve?
No, I think I've read most of the things so far. Lots of people saying hello to each other. There seem to be people coming back. Jamilia. Lots of people saying hello to Jamilia and Sutika.
Yeah, we haven't seen Jamilia for a while. It seems like a long time since I've seen you.
Jamilia Tienti, welcome and welcome back. Lots of people saying hello so obviously you've been missed, and it's nice to have you here today. Yes, we've got Lalo from Kazakhstan says hi. Lots of people from all around the world, as we always get, which is lovely to see.
Yes. And that's what we always say. We always say that this is the biggest, this is the largest English corner on the planet, because it does involve the planet and everyone on it. So everyone is welcome, as I always say.
Zershid asks how many people in Wenlock. I think we've you probably missed that. I think how many is it? About 5,000.
5,000 people.
Sounds a lot to me.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
But apparently it is 5,000. Oh, talking of Much Wenlock, this week, of course, I like to keep you up to date with the events in the area where we live. And this week we've had the new Wenlock Herald. However, I am a little bit disappointed with this month's Wenlock Herald. Do you know why, Steve? Because for some reason...
It doesn't mention you in it?
Not that. It's just that the printing, they haven't made a very good job of the printing. It's. I don't know who does the quality control of the Wenlock Herald.
I think it's printed by volunteers at the local church.
Look.
So we probably need to not be too critical.
No, I'm going to be. I'm going to be. If they want me to read their publication, they have to make sure we can actually read what they've printed.
I'm sure volunteers at the local church are responsible for. Yes.
How am I supposed to read that?
Maybe they've run out of ink.
See, there's a lovely prayer there. That prayer could be the saviour to all my problems, and it's all blurry, and I can't see it.
I think they've run out of ink, Mr.
Yes.
Duncan. I don't know what they used. They probably use a photocopier, probably, don't they?
I am very disappointed.
That's a photocopier that's running out of ink.
Yes.
So, yes, you need to change your cartridges.
Yes.
Much Wenlock printers.
Yes. Anyone from the Much Wenlock Herald, you need to change the cartridge in your printer because we can't read anything in this month's Wenlock Herald.
Marcy is going. She's making lunch.
Oh.
Talking of people making lunch, Belarusia. Claudia, yes, is cooking souffle.
Oh.
So I would imagine you're going to have to keep a close eye on that so that it doesn't... you don't want your souffle to sink.
No.
And Saturino was cooking pasta today, and now Marcia is off to cook her meal, and I wonder what you're cooking.
The problem with souffles, a souffle takes a very long time to cook.
Does it?
And yes, and also, well, to mix it and to cook it. So it is a very delicate process. And there's nothing worse when you go to a restaurant with friends and there's always one person who wants to order the souffle. And the souffle takes ages to cook, to actually prepare and make, because they make it fresh, you see. You can't get frozen souffle. It's impossible. So it has to be made completely from the beginning.
I think once it's in the oven, it cooks quite quickly, but they would say you shouldn't open the oven door, otherwise the souffle will sink. Wilson, let's make a special Michael Wilson says, hello, Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan. I'm watching your programme with my family from Mumbai, India. Nice to see you both again. So, hello, Michael, and your family watching us today.
I think it's actually Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson Michael.
Wilson Michael or Michael Wilson. which is your first name. So apologies. One of them is your surname.
Okay.
We're assuming that in most people's names, the first name comes up first. So yes.
Okay, Steve.
Maybe Wilson is your
Hello,
first
Wilson.
name.
Wilson Michael and all of your family watching at the moment. Can we say a big hello and welcome? And I hope you are enjoying today's live stream. I hope it is lots of fun. It's fun here. And I hope it's fun where you are as well.
Bruno 2 Live is here from Switzerland. I don't remember seeing Bruno 2 Live for a while. So that's maybe
2-5.
2-5, yes. That was I need my eyes checking.
We were talking about this the other day.
Vitas is cooking a sandwich.
Cooking a sandwich?
Yes.
How do you cook a sandwich?
I don't know.
Maybe you can prepare a sandwich, unless of course you are having a hot sandwich. Very nice, very fancy.
Yes. A popular sandwich here in the UK is a hot pork sandwich. Obviously not popular with certain religions.
Okay.
But it's popular.
Let's just enjoy the sandwich.
It's quite popular with Brits. Lots of sort of people go in and have those hot pork sandwiches, particularly in the winter, with a bit of stuffing. So maybe that's what Vitas is cooking.
I like a bit of pork and I like a bit of stuffing.
Didn't you get a nice photo of Vitas this week? I seem to remember an email that you had with a photo of Vitas.
No?
Oh, okay. I thought you had.
No, I had a video from Pedro.
Yes, I haven't seen that, by the way.
No, it's a very strange video. I can't show it, unfortunately, because other people are in the video clip. And, well, I'm not going to bore you with the rules, but if there is another person involved and they haven't given permission, then I can't show it, I'm afraid. Very sorry about that.
Never mind.
But we do have Pedro here, and we do have a lot of other people as well. Oh,
look at that.
Apparently Alberto says, hi guys, talking from Brazil. Hello, Brazil. And cooking meatballs.
See, all these people are cooking, and it's making us very, very hungry. All I've had today is some porridge and a banana. Mind you, we had a lot to eat last night. Are we going to talk about our subject, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, in a moment.
In a moment.
We have got 50 minutes left. I was a bit late today, so actually it's almost 55 minutes. So we almost have another hour to go.
So that's interesting. Palmyra has said sandwich as a verb means an insert.
Ah.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Well, you can squeeze things together. If you sandwich something, it means one thing is trapped between two other things. So the thing in the middle has been sandwiched. So yes, you can use the word sandwich as both a noun and a verb. To sandwich something is to put one thing in between two other things. You are pushed, you are pressed in, you are sandwiched. I like it.
You can use that, for example, at work. You could say you could have two meetings, and then you've got lunch in between. So you could say let's try and sandwich some lunch in between the 11:30 meeting and the 2 o'clock meeting. So it doesn't have to mean objects. It could be things you're doing at work, or I could be at home. You could have lots of things to do, but you want to fit one particular thing in, like eating, and so you sandwich that in between two other tasks. Could be meetings at work, or it could be things that you've got going on at home tasks you want to complete. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Palmyra.
All this is doing is making me hungry.
Exactly. We've got no food in here at all today. Look at that. Edith has cooked potato casserole. You'd like that, Mr. Duncan. Potato lover. Gulu 10. Gulu 10. I love a cheese sandwich. Yes. Cheese. I like a cheese and onion sandwich, and then have cheese and onion crisps with it, or a cheese sandwich with cheese and onion. That's very nice.
I'm going through a phase at the moment. With my cheese, I often have a little phase. So I will suddenly like or I will suddenly start desiring certain types of cheese. At the moment, I'm going through a extra mature cheddar phase. I'm very much into extra mature cheddar, real strong cheese. Very nice.
Yes, Valentina. Blimey, everyone's cooking. Valentina has spaghetti alla carbonara.
Ah,
Sounds nice. Is that sort of with cream?
that's the. It's a bit sickly. I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan of carbonara. It's a little bit too creamy.
Well, Valentina likes it.
Yes,
I'm sure it was delicious.
I'm sure it was.
And says it was very tasty. And I'm sure it was, despite what Mr. Duncan has just
Well,
said.
I just don't like the texture. It's too creamy. I think there is actually cream in it, isn't there?
I think
Yeah.
there is.
It's very heavy.
Has it got strips of bacon in it as well?
Do you remember the time? Do you remember the time we went to Church Stretton, and we had a meal, and I had spaghetti carbonara, and then when I came home, I vomited everywhere in the garden.
Yes, I think there was something wrong with that meal.
Yes, so that hasn't helped.
Yeah, so that's put you off. If you have a meal and then it makes you vomit, it tends to put you off.
Yeah.
So if we say something puts you off, it means you don't want it anymore.
I used to like it, but now I don't like it. That sort of thing. Something can happen, and you change your feeling.
Jamila says, TNT says, when did you last have a good old British breakfast? Not for some time. Actually, no, I tell a lie. I had one this week.
Yes, you because we didn't mention that you were away. Steve went away. He left me for a whole day and night, and I was on my own. And Steve went to York, and apparently you had a lovely English breakfast.
Yes. So the first time that you can see that, at least in the UK, things are starting to get back to normal. All the sort of COVID restrictions have been lifted, and so we had our very first team work meeting, the first one in over 2 years. Just our local team. There's only 6 of us in our local team, and we decided to meet in York because we're spread out quite a lot around the UK, our local team. It's a long way for me to drive. It's 3 hours. It took me 3 hours to drive there. But York is a lovely, quiet, picturesque town with a beautiful cathedral, the York Minster. Y-O-R-K is how it's pronounced. It's quite sleepy, lovely sort of oldie worldy cobbled streets.
Yeah. So it's traditional.
Yes. So we stayed in a hotel one night, and I had an English breakfast, and that's the first time I've had.
Well, we did have one a few weeks ago when we went to, was it Monmouth? We went to. Do you remember? We took a trip. We went to on the way back from Wales.
Yes.
We went to Monmouth, and we found that lovely little cafe, didn't we? On the high street.
How long ago was that, Mr.
That was
Duncan?
this year.
I don't remember.
Oh,
Alessandra says that she doesn't put any cream in her spaghetti carbonara.
oh, okay. So there's probably meat. There's
Eggs
probably
and bacon and pepper.
bacon. That's it. That's right.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, but there are different ways of cooking it, I think.
Anna says it depends on who cooked it in the first place.
That's right.
Yes. Well, maybe the person that made my spaghetti isn't as good as you are at cooking. So we will have to try it, you see. We will have to try some of your spaghetti.
I think the problem was the one you had was far too oily. But never mind.
They put a lot of oil into it.
Yes. So we're all getting very hungry. Francesco says, isn't it time for scones and a cuppa? Ooh. Yes, or tea cakes and a cuppa. Yes. So we normally do. Well, we used to, but we don't have tea cakes anymore after the live stream because, well, we can't buy them anymore because the local bakery isn't as good as it used to be.
But there is some good news. We might have hot cross buns coming because Easter is on its way. And yes, I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. The only reason why you are excited about Easter is because you can eat lots of chocolate. And you were right, of course. Everything in life has to be connected somewhere with food. It does.
Yeah, well, Francesco says, have you ever tasted Parmigiana?
Oh.
A wonderful meal based in aubergines.
Oh.
Well, you like aubergines, Mr. Duncan.
I love aubergines or eggplant.
Sounds a bit like there's a dish that you can get in the UK with made with aubergines, which is I can't think where it's called now.
Not moussaka.
Moussaka.
Oh, moussaka.
Has a lot of sort of aubergines. No, not aubergines. Is something different. Yeah, aubergines is something different. I think I'm getting it confused with something else. Eggplant is what's in the moussaka, which is a Greek dish, I think.
I always thought aubergine.
No, it is. Yeah, I think I'm right.
Are you okay, Steve?
Yes, they're the purple sort of vegetables. Yes,
aubergines and eggplant are the same thing.
That's right. I was thinking of something else. So yeah, is it like moussaka? Because that's one of our favourite meals that we loved when we used to go to Greece many years ago. Meat and aubergines in a lovely sort of sauce, creamy sauce. It's a bit like lasagna, but without the pasta. Pasta's replaced with aubergines.
Can we please stop talking about food?
And can we please start talking about our subject of the day?
We have our subject of the day coming up in a moment. We're going to take a quick break.
You're keeping us waiting, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, well, I'm not. It's just the format of the programme. This is how we do it every single week. It's no different. Look, if you're not careful, Steve, we are going to bring the sentence game back if you're not careful. So please behave yourself.
Well, I was only thinking of that this week. I wonder if Mr. Duncan will ever bring the sentence game back.
The sentence game might come back one day, but unfortunately everyone has stole the idea. They've all got it. They've all taken it for themselves. BBC have taken it. One or two other English teachers are now using the sentence game. They've stolen my idea.
And it was your idea.
My idea, yes. So in a moment we have today's topic, which is words and phrases connected to parts. So if you ever needed proof that spring has arrived, well, there it is. Dibby-dibby-doo.
Yes, Tomek noticed that cow was, as he put it, into me.
Yeah.
I think that cow had a bit of a thing for me. I
Yeah.
think it was, I think it was just excited to see me.
It was a lady cow.
It probably was, yes. In fact, it was a lady cow. It was just excited. Well, who isn't excited to see me? Is what. And he's also getting excited when you mentioned the word sentence game,
Yeah.
because he's put it up there and not retracted it. So that means he must be serious about it.
Yes. Okay. Of course, the sentence game is something we used to play a while ago, but then I stopped doing it because a lot of people stole the idea and started using it themselves. And then I lost interest, you see. I always like to do everything uniquely. And I like to be unique. I like to be the only person doing these things. And then when another person starts doing it, I become really bored.
Zershid asks, what software do you use for your video editing?
I video edit with Premiere Pro. I use the professional video editing software. It's great. It matches my professional cameras really well. So most of what I use is professional equipment. And now, of course, this week I managed to get a new graphics card, a professional graphics card. And so I've installed that. It's working, isn't it, Steve?
It's all working.
Yes.
You've got all your monitors, because it hasn't been working properly for some time.
I mean, I have no money now.
So,
I've spent virtually every penny that I have on this stupid computer. It's a bit like Lewis last week. Lewis said, I sent my computer to be repaired, and I didn't realise that having a computer repaired can cost more than buying a new one. I know your feeling very much, Lewis.
Raphael makes the Aloriaga also mentions the way the cow stops. It does look like it's saying hello. It does look like that. It's a lovely video, that. It's a lovely video.
It's worth remembering that those cows in that video were actually babies. They were actually very young cows. So
Yes.
I think they were quite inquisitive. They were interested in what was going on around them. So I think that's the reason why.
Zershid uses Premiere Pro as well.
Oh,
Kindred spirits.
yes.
Kindred spirits. That's a phrase we use if two people are thinking and doing similar things.
Yes.
It means they,
Is that it?
That's it.
Is that the end of the sentence?
Yes.
Yes, the one thing I love about Premiere Pro is the fact that every year they update it. So they've just, about a month ago, they released the 2022 version of Premiere Pro, which I'm now using. And it's fantastic. It really is very good. The only problem is you need a really good computer to use it on, which I now have because I've updated the computer with all new parts, and it works very well.
And he's done it all himself.
I did it myself.
Yes.
I can't believe it. So that is a new occupation, a new skill that I've discovered over the past couple of weeks. I can now repair computers. Woo.
Mr. Duncan, anyway, we've had one suggestion already for parts.
Mm.
And it has been
course.
retracted, but I from a certain person.
Okay, Steve.
But I've already written it down. But so, Mr. Duncan, are we going to now start
Yes, we're doing it now.
exploration of the word parts?
Yes. So here we go, Steve. On the screen right now, we are looking at part, words, and phrases. Part, words, and phrases. So here we are looking at the word part. So we're not looking at specific parts. We are just looking at the word part
Ah, right.
and the way in which it can be used, you see. So part, words and phrases. So let's get through this if we can. Part. The word part refers to a component of something. So quite often when we look at part of something, quite often there are other things connected to it that make up something. So part is a component. More than one part is needed to make something. So quite often if you want to build something, make something, construct something, or maybe if you want to take something apart or to pieces, maybe you want to deconstruct something. Again, you are taking the parts from each other. So more than one part is needed to make something, whatever it is.
Like your computer, for example.
Yes, definitely. Many parts are put together. So the parts have to be put together to complete the thing you are building.
So the part is singular, the parts is the plural.
That's
isn't
it. So one part, many parts. A machine consists of parts. Most things that exist nowadays, and I'm sure you can think of many, a machine consists of parts. Each part serves a purpose. So we often think of the parts coming together to complete something that serves a purpose. If something is serving a purpose, it is doing a job. It is doing a duty. It is doing something. It is performing a task. Together, the parts interact as one. And I'm sure once again you can think of many different things that have parts that are joined together or put together, and they interact as one thing. Interact. If something interacts, it means it is working with another thing, or it is working as a connection. It interacts. You might say that we interact with you. So we are here on your screen and you are there. However, we are interacting. You might say that we are working together. We are doing something together. We are interacting.
Bye, Rosa.
Rosa is going. See you later. We will talk about parts when describing an object's construction or function. So the way something is made, or the things that are used to make it. Here we go, Steve. This is right up your street. We have car parts. Can you name 3 parts of a car?
The engine,
Okay.
the gearbox, and the exhaust system.
Now, what is interesting there?
Maybe. Of course, the engine itself
Yes, I was going to say.
also consists of many parts.
Yes. So quite often, parts will go into the parts, and then that part that has been constructed will go into something else as a part. We will talk about that in a few moments because it's quite complicated actually.
Yes, you can go down many layers, can't you? I mean, you could talk about the main engine block being made of, say, iron or aluminium, but then you could go into that to say, what is the iron composed of?
Yes.
What are the parts? What is iron molecules made up of? You could keep going down deeper and deeper, couldn't you?
And we have all of the different parts of an engine. So we have the pistons. Pistons. I love that word. I don't know why. Something attracts me to it. If I say it with an echo, pistons.
It sounds rude.
No?
It sounds like a rude word, but it isn't.
No, I didn't. I don't think that.
Of course, there won't be many pistons in cars in the future because we're turning electric.
Yes.
So there won't be many engines with pistons and rods and all sorts of things in the future.
Yes, it'll be just lots and lots of batteries.
Which is boring battery-powered
Yes.
cars.
So we have car parts, we have body parts, such as your liver. The liver. It's a very, very important part of your body, the liver. Did you know that you can
They're all
cut...
important.
Yes, but some more important. Your liver. Did you know that you can cut your liver up? You can take a big piece out of your liver and it will grow back.
Yes.
It will actually regenerate. It will grow back like science fiction. Your kidneys, they're pretty important. Very important body parts. What about your
Pancreas
pancreas?
is an important one.
Yes, you don't want to lose your pancreas.
But there are certain parts that you can remove and still live a relatively fit and healthy life. I mean, you can remove one kidney and the other one will still function. You can remove one lung and the other one will grow a bit bigger to compensate. You can remove certain complete parts altogether. You can remove your bladder and you can still function. A lot of people as they get older have a problem with various other body parts, and they can be removed and the body, you can still carry on.
So some body parts are what we call vital body parts. You can't lose them. They are vital. They
Your
are
heart, your brain.
Yeah, well, I was going to say something then, you see. It was something very insulting. Body parts.
So VITAS has made... so we're talking about this. We're talking about objects here, aren't we? When we... This type of parts we're talking about are actual physical things.
Yes.
But you can... for example, VITAS has said, I was born in California. Which part?
So in that sense, we're talking about an area.
Yes.
A small part of something else. So a section or an area, part of that place. So you might say you were born, well, for example, you said earlier you were born in London. London is part of England.
But also you could say, someone could say, well, what part of London were you born in? Because London, obviously, big city broken up into lots of different areas, all having their own names. So, I'd like to say I was born in Mayfair, which is but I wasn't. That's a very expensive part of London.
Was it Hackney?
Could have been.
Oh, Muswell Hill.
Yes. Lots of different, So, yes, it doesn't have to be an actual physical part. You can divide countries and areas into different parts.
Yes.
So
I
can
in that
divide my garden into different parts, can't
Yes,
I?
that's
Into
it.
a lawn area, that's one part of the garden. A rose bed, that's another part of the garden. So yes, it doesn't have to be sort of physical things that then make up something else, as in body parts making up the body.
So and also we have computer parts, which I know all about. I'm now an expert on computer parts.
Expert.
Many small parts are often used to make one complete part. So this is the thing we mentioned earlier. You might find sometimes when you are talking about parts, so we talked about parts of a car, parts of a motor car can also be something that has been constructed from much smaller parts. So the parts go into that part, and then that part will go in to whatever it is you are building. It sounds confusing, doesn't it? In fact, you might say that parts are used to make the parts which are themselves part of something. I think that expresses it quite clearly. So the parts made to build the parts which are then put in to a machine as one part. It's correct.
You could have said about today's lesson, during which part of today's live English lesson will Mr. Duncan be talking about parts? And and you could say, well, the part that comes near the end.
Yes. Quite often a story, or maybe if you are watching a TV program, sometimes they might have a short break. So you'll have part 1 and then part 2, part 3. So that can also be what happens when we are talking about parts. You build an engine from parts. The engine is then fitted as part of a car. So lots and lots of small parts. For example, I suppose I could show you here on the screen there. Lots of small parts. I believe these are engine parts. Parts of an engine.
Could well be. There are
And-
lots of washers there.
Yes, lots of different types of screws, attachments, brackets, lots of things on the screen, and they are all parts that are put together to construct one thing. So I find it quite fascinating that when we talk about parts, it can be one thing or one thing made from many other things that are then put together. It always amazes me that we can construct things that do such amazing tasks. Think of an aeroplane. I'm always fascinated whenever you are about to get onto an aeroplane. I'm sure you've done this as well, Steve. I always do it. You might not, but I always like to look at the engine of a plane as I go up the steps or as I go into the plane. I always have a little look outside. I like to look at the engine, and I'm always fascinated by engines on aeroplanes, because that is what gets you up into the air, up into the sky. That one, well, not one, normally there's 2 or sometimes 4, but I find it amazing.
The parts that make up something like an engine or an aeroplane, on their own, they're pretty useless, aren't they? You have to put all these parts together
Yes.
to construct what it is you want to make. So so for example, if we took an engine, for example, and just looked at one of the pistons, well, the piston on its own is useless. It doesn't do anything. But when you combine it with lots of other parts, it makes an engine, and thus that can then become part of the car, which powers the car along.
Yeah.
So the parts often on their own are useless. So a kidney on its own is useless.
Yes.
A heart on its own.
Unless you are making a pie.
Yes, somebody's heart on its own is useless. You can't, because without everything else, all the other parts, you don't make a human being.
No.
Um,
So if you just had a pile of organs in a bag, you can't make a human being out of that.
so all the parts come together to make a whole, something. Quite often, people are giving us lots of suggestions here as well. A play. Galu 10 says a play has many parts.
Yes.
We've mentioned that already.
Well, of course, you often play a part or the part of a character
yes.
in a musical or in a play.
People might say, yes, what part are you playing in that musical? Well, I'm playing the part of, and then you might say the name, whoever that particular role that you're playing. But yes,
to be involved.
actors in films are playing a part or a role.
Yes. Or maybe if you are part of a group and you are all doing something together, you are part of that group. So each part of a machine performs a function. Going back to jet planes, I'm always amazed how jet engines work. Have you ever seen a jet engine when it's taken to pieces and how it actually works? It always amazes me how they don't blow up all the time, because it's quite a volatile reaction inside a jet engine. So there's lots of fuel and lots of flames and lots of everything happening inside that engine. And I sometimes find it amazing that it stays in one piece, to be honest.
If you Yes, Edith has said, here's another use of the word part. For example, a part-time job.
Oh.
So a full-time job, you'd normally think of that as maybe working 8 hours a day, depending on what country you're working in, maybe 9 till 5. But if you only, say, work the morning or the afternoon, or only so many hours a day, then you would describe that as a part-time job. The full-time being you're working the maximum hours possible. But if you're part-time, you might only say work 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day. Obviously, you'll get less pay. But yes, a part-time job.
Yes.
A job that you don't do full-time, i.e. 9 to 5, 5 days a week is the
So you
benchmark.
might think of 40 hours a week as being full-time. But if you only work 15 hours per week, then you might say that it is part-time, a part-time job.
If you have lots of parts that form an engine, for example, but then you've got leftover parts, then, as Tomek has pointed out, you've got spare parts. So you might construct something and you've got leftover bits that you don't need, and they are spare parts, so that if something goes wrong with that machine, you can fix it by using some of the spare ones, the ones that you've got left over.
As long as those things are not supposed to be inside the machine. Have you ever built something? It's a bit like building maybe a model or something that you have to put together in a certain way. And at the end, you find you've got some pieces left that are supposed to be in there. So we might not call those spare parts. We might just call that a terrible mistake. And you have to take the thing to pieces again. You have to take it apart.
Well, you had to. Yeah, I mean, you can buy spare parts. If you can buy spare parts for something, then, for example, your cooker might break.
Yes.
But because maybe one of the rings, the electric rings on the top stops working, and you need to phone up the company and say, have you got any spare parts? Can I buy some spare parts for this cooker? Because I've got this ring's broken. They say, yes, we've got that spare part for you. We'll send it to you. So, yes, quite often and I think manufacturers in the UK, you have to, anyone that makes anything that's for sale, you have to keep spare parts for that machine for a period of time.
Yes, I think it's 10 years.
It certainly used to be 10 years.
Yes.
So my father used to work in the gas industry, and they used to manufacture cookers and fires. And they used to, for every cooker and fire that they produced, even if they stopped selling it after a few years and had a new model, and it's the same with cars, the manufacturers, they are legally obliged to keep spare parts for that particular fire or car or whatever it is, legally for a period of time, so that people can fix it and aren't forced to buy a new model. So you could have a car for 20 years, couldn't you? But you can still buy spare parts for it. The radiator might break or the gearbox might break, but you can still get spare parts because the manufacturers, they must have a big warehouse somewhere where they keep all these spare parts all sort of carefully catalogued.
Okay. So each part of a machine performs a function. The function is the job that it's supposed to do. So to operate or to work, you perform a function, a certain task that you are supposed to do. The word machine derives from Greek and means contrivance.
Right.
So a lot of people believe that machine is maybe French, but it actually derives originally via Latin from Greek, and the original use is contrivance, something, a thing.
A contrivance, yes.
A part.
Catherine, thank you, Catherine, has said we can use the phrase fall apart if you're upset over something. You can fall apart. So you don't function properly. It's almost like it just means that you're so upset about something, you fall apart, you cry or whatever, and you've lost control of your emotions. Somebody's died that you love, for example, or something dreadful happened somewhere, and your reaction is to fall apart. You just cannot go on as you usually were.
Yeah.
So that's a very good phrase.
To
Thank you
become
for that.
distraught or emotionally unstable, you fall apart. You can't cope. Anna Rita is going. See you again soon, Anna, I hope. The word part, by the way, can be used as both a verb and also a noun as well. I've lost my
Right.
little thing. To divide or split is to part. So in that sense, we're using it as a verb. To divide or to split, you part something. You part that thing. You are making those two things separate. You divide, you split.
So couples that have been together might be married and they decide to get divorced, and you can say that they part.
Yes.
Those couples part.
They decide to split.
That's it. So they part. They part. You can part company
Yes.
with a company. You can part company with a friend. Yeah, exactly.
And as a noun, a component is part of something. So a component, in that sense, we are using it as a noun. It is part of something. So it's worth remembering that those words can be used as both nouns and verbs as well.
Lewis said that he used to change the discs on his car. So he changed parts. Lewis used to be a taxi driver, didn't he?
Yes.
So he would be using the brakes quite a lot. And so the discs would probably, or the brake pads would wear out. So that's the part of a car. Could be the discs, could be the brake pads. So being able to do that yourself, that's quite, you've got to know what you're doing to do that.
I have to be honest, I'm quite intimidated by engineering. I find the whole thing very intimidating. When you see someone working on a car or on an engine, and they take the whole thing to pieces, and it is sitting around inside their workshop in tiny pieces, all of the parts, and then they put it back together again, and it works. So I'm always slightly intimidated by anyone that can do engineering. So I would imagine, Lewis, from time to time you would do some work or some repair work on your car. So you would change the parts.
So here's a good phrase from Hala or Hala. Do your part and the rest will fall into place. Yes, so if, for example, in a work environment, the companies are always wanting to sell something or achieve something, but in order to do that, all the employees have to do their part.
Yes.
So some will be involved in selling, some will be involved in inventing something new, the research, others will be involved in the materials to advertise. So everyone is doing a different job, and all those parts, everyone does his part, then the company will be successful. So thank you for that. That's a very good. That's a very good suggestion. So we all play our part. Mr. Duncan is playing his part in helping people to learn English. There are many other people who teach English online. Of course, they're not as good as Mr. Duncan, but they all play their part. We all play our part in society.
Yes. We all have a role to play.
We have a role to play. There's jobs for everybody. That always fascinates me, that there's always somebody willing to do a job that is is necessary for society to function.
Mm.
So there's jobs, leaders, people. There's always somebody who wants to be a prime minister, but there's always somebody who's plays their part. They might collect the litter, or they might sweep the streets, but everyone plays their part. If we didn't have people doing those jobs, we wouldn't have a society that works properly. So thank you for that. Everyone plays their part.
Although, to be honest, some jobs are not done by choice. They are just done because they have to be done, unfortunately. The word apart, now this is interesting. The word apart does not derive from part.
Okay.
So you would assume that the word apart to be distant from another person. You are apart. But it is not connected.
Like I was from you.
Yes.
On Wednesday, I went to York and I was apart from you, away from you, a distance. But it doesn't derive from part.
No, it actually derives from the Latin for at the side. So by the side of something. By the side of something is apart. So it's nothing to do with that actual word. So I thought that was quite interesting to throw in.
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Hello, Jimmy in Hong Kong. A super sticker. Super duper #1 sticker. Thank you very much, Jimmy. That's very kind of you. I feel very honoured that you have done that for me. Thank you very much. And thanks for your kind donation as well on the live chat. Thank you very much. I wasn't joking, by the way. I have literally spent all my money. I have some of your donation money. I still have some of that. But as for my normal bank account, it's a bit empty. I have a feeling I might be getting a phone call from my bank over the next few days asking, "Oh, hello, Duncan. We've noticed that you've spent all of your money."
Well, you've had to fix your computer.
I know.
Computer.
Computers, they are so annoying when they go wrong. A part can be described as a bit, a component, an element, a piece, an ingredient. So that's, yes, I suppose if you are making a cake or making a recipe, you have to put different parts into that recipe, and they normally are referred to as the ingredients. And also a thing. Generally speaking, any part can be described as a thing.
Yeah. What's that thing called?
Yes.
Oh, that's the exhaust system. What's that thing called? Oh, that's your processor in the computer.
Yes. So it is something that we can use. We can describe anything as a thing. Parts usually have their own individual names, but sometimes, as Steve just rightly said, it is hard to remember the name of a part, especially if there are thousands of parts. Imagine that. Imagine all of the parts that go into a car. And a person who is an expert or a mechanic, they have to remember all of those parts.
Yes.
I don't know how they do it, to be honest.
There'll be a name for all of them.
Yeah. However, and this is something I'm going to put on the screen now, however, there are other things we can say if we don't know the name of a part. So we might say a thingy. There it is. A thingy. We don't know what it's called. We can't remember. I can't remember the name of it. So instead I will just call it a thingy. Or a whatchamacallit. That's a real word, by the way. I haven't made that word up. A whatchamacallit is something that exists. It is part of something, but you can't remember the name of it. So you say, "Oh, can you pass me the whatchamacallit?" You can't remember the name of it. You might also say a thingy bob. A thingy bob. I can't remember the name, so instead I will call it a thingy bob. You know, the thing in the engine that goes round and round. You know, the thing, the thingy bob. We can also say gizmo. A gizmo is something we use, but we can't remember the name of it. It's just a very useful thing to have. And of course, we can just say a bit or bits and bobs. Bits and bobs. They are all parts, maybe lots of small parts that you have to put together. They are your bits and bobs. So most of these are used in English, and you might find some of them used more in British English. But whatchamacallit. That's a great one. I love that one. That's my favourite word for today. Whatchamacallit. Please pass me the whatchamacallit. Mr. Steve will be putting on the whatchamacallit. Kettle, that's it. In a few moments, because it's almost time to go, but we have some more words. The phrase, now we have some phrases now, Steve, before we go. Some part phrases. So we have the phrase part and parcel, which means an essential part. Can you think of any example of that?
No, not off the top of my head. Yeah, can you, Mr. Duncan?
Well, quite often, if you live in a big city, you will have to travel in the morning. Commuting to work is part and parcel of living in a big city.
Oh, yes, good one,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan. Yeah, it means you have to do it.
Yes, so it's
Yes.
an essential part, something you have to do, something that is integral. Ooh, that gave me a little thrill. That did
Mr.
that
Duncan
word.
getting excited using a particular word.
I do get so excited. Integral.
Yes, part and parcel, integral,
Integral.
means it can't be avoided. You have to do it.
Yes.
Yes. Talking to my colleagues on Zoom is part and parcel of the job that I do. I don't want to do it necessarily, but I
Yes.
have to do it.
Especially in these strange times.
Travelling long distances to see my customers is part and parcel of my job. It means it's an essential part. I have to do it.
So part and parcel of something is an essential part of it, as we just had some examples on the screen with Mr. Steve and myself. To look the part. You see another phrase?
Yes.
If you look the part, it means you appear to be suitable for something. Maybe you are going for a job interview, and maybe you are going to be working in a place where your appearance is important. So you appear at the job interview in your suit and your tie, and you look very sophisticated. And they might say, oh, you look the part. It means you look suitable.
Appropriate.
Yes, you look as if you belong in that particular place.
But you can say somebody doesn't look the part.
Yes, the opposite.
If they're not, say you're going to a formal evening where people need to dress up in bow ties and women need to wear nice dresses. If you turned up to that inappropriately dressed, someone might say, well, they don't look the part.
No. So they are wearing the wrong things.
They're wearing the wrong thing. Could be, clothes is a common phrase. To the part being whatever role you're intending to do. It could be that you're going for a job interview, as Mr. Duncan says, but it could be, for example, that somebody turns up to do some work on your house, and they haven't got the right equipment. They don't have the right clothing on. You can say, well, they don't look the part. It just means they're not suitably dressed or they don't look suitable.
So in this particular sentence, we are talking about they don't look suitable for that particular thing. It doesn't look the part. That person does not look suitable, or perhaps they do look suitable for the part. Another one, to part company.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, well, it's strange. Jamila's just asked, what about the verb to part?
Yes,
Well, this is...
part company, which is what we will be doing in a moment. Did you see what I did there? To part company is to leave or to separate. You part company. Maybe two people in a relationship, they decide to part company. They decide to separate. They leave each other. Maybe one person will part company with someone else. For example, in a few moments, we will part company with you because we will be going.
Or you can just shorten that to part,
Yes.
as Jamila has said.
And as Shakespeare once said, parting is such sweet sorrow. But don't worry, because I will be back with you on Wednesday. Finally, we have the word counterpart. Another good word. A counterpart is a thing that works with or alongside another. For example, a partner. We might say that Mr. Steve is my counterpart on the live chat. So two things that work together, maybe they belong together for something to function or to work properly. So the counterpart. Counter, of course, means something that's other or fixed. So the counterpart is the thing that is with the other thing. They work together. Counterpart. I like that one. And that, as they say, is that.
Jamila has also said, what is a man of parts?
Ah,
Yes, if you use that phrase, that means that a man, or it could be a woman of parts as well, of course. But
a
it's
person of parts.
person of parts, but a man of parts is how it's often used. It just means somebody that's very good at something or has a lot of good qualities. Maybe they're just very good at certain things.
I think Mr. Steve sometimes is a man of parts. You are able to do specific things very well in your job and also in your hobbies as well. You're away from work.
It usually refers to somebody who has a lot of talents, a lot of abilities. There is another phrase as well, which is a phrase saying something is greater than the sum of its parts.
Ah, yes.
That's a phrase that something is greater than the sum of its parts. So whatever you use to construct a particular object, you would, when you put those things together, like a car, for example,
Yes.
cars have similar parts in them. But sometimes when you put all those parts together, if you put them together in a certain way, what you get out, what you construct, ends up being better than you expected.
Yes. So the sum is the total.
Yes.
So two things put together perform a task which is more than what those things appear to be.
Yes.
It's a great. So maybe modern inventions. Take your phone, for example. The simple smartphone. It looks very simple. It's just a piece of plastic with lots of wires and circuit boards and chips. But if you put those things next to each other, all of the parts, it looks like nothing. It doesn't look like it could do anything. So those things together are able to do lots of things. They are able to compute and do amazing things like watch this live stream.
And you can say about people as well, or relationships. Sometimes two people in a relationship work in synergy with each other.
Oh, yes.
And so the two people are greater than individually. They might be able to do things, but put them together and they can achieve more, much more than you would expect, because somehow their different talents and abilities will work to achieve something greater than they would do on their own.
Yes.
So you can say that couple are greater than the sum of their parts. So separately they would achieve things, but brought together they can achieve more. And certainly if you put certain playwrights and actors together, I mean, we've all seen films that look very promising. They might have all the big name actors in them, but when you watch the film, it's a big disappointment.
Yes, it can happen.
And you could, but sometimes you get a film like Star Wars was a classic example. That was greater than the sum of its parts. There was nobody really famous in it, and yet that achieved huge following because all the different things that make up that film made something that was greater than the sum of its parts. It wasn't expected to be a fantastic film, but it was.
That's it. And I think that is that. We've been here for 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Gulu 10 says we are all part of English Addict.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And we will be parting in a few moments. It is soon time for us to part.
And Catherine says, I've been happy to take part in today's meeting.
Yes. To take part in something is to be involved. You are part of what happened. You are in there. You are part of it. And that is it, Mr. Steve. I've enjoyed today's live stream. I hope you have as well, with the beautiful weather outside. I don't think I can resist going outside today because I might go out and have a walk around the garden. Are you going back outside?
I might do. I might do. I might sit down and have a nice cup of tea first, though. Yes, as the days get longer, of course, we are probably less inclined to stay indoors and watch episodes of our favourite detective. So we probably won't be watching Columbo as the spring approaches.
Yes.
But it's certainly, I've been very pleased to be part of Mr. Duncan's English teaching lesson today. And I wish you all very well wherever you are in the world, and hopefully see you all again next week.
That's it. And don't forget, I am back on Wednesday. Thank you, Steve.
Parting is such sweet sorrow.
And I shall say good night till it be morrow. He is a silly sausage. Mr. Steve will be back next Sunday. And that's it. It's almost time to say goodbye. It's almost time to say cheerio. And I will be back on Wednesday, usual time, 2 p.m. UK time is when I will be with you next. Thanks for your company. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream, and I will see you very soon right here. I hope you've had a good day and a good weekend, and I hope the rest of your day will be super duper as well. Thank you very much for your company today. Thank you, Jamelia. Thank you also, Maria, Alessandra, Gulu. Don't forget also to give me a big like as well. I want to see those thumbs. Can you please give me a nice big thumb? I know it's very easy to forget, but if you could give me a lovely thumbs up underneath this video, I would be ever so pleased. And of course you can subscribe as well. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. If you can't join me then, as usual, I'm with you next Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time, and Steve will be back as well. Thank you very much for your company today. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. I hope you've enjoyed everything that we've done today, and I will see you soon. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching. See you later. Take care wherever you are in the world, and I will see you soon. And of course, until the next time we meet here, right here on YouTube, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.